TV weathermen and women are trained to handle all kinds of inclement situations, but what about a spider on a weather cam or a wisecracking co-anchor? Get your umbrella ready because these are the meteorologists who lost it on live TV. In May 2019, a tornado shredded the streets of Dayton, Ohio. Luckily, locals can't say the alarms weren't sounded, according to Newsweek, thanks to Fox 45's weatherman Jamie Simpson.
This heavy rain is between you and the tornado.
But not everyone was happy about it. Simpson's live report, made several hours before the tornadoes rushed through, cut in on an airing of The Bachelorette.
I was just checking social media. We have viewers complaining already. Just go back to the show. No, we're not going back to the show, folks.
Rather than ignore the social media fire, Simpson flipped out.
I'm sick and tired of people complaining about this. Our job here is to keep people safe, and that is what we're going to do.
He added,
some of you complain that this is all about my ego. Stop. Okay, just stop right now. It's not.
The tornado ended up claiming 1 life, destroying a large part of central Ohio and injuring 12, according to Today. When Simpson's clip went viral, Dayton locals praised him for his dedication. Back in 2005, CNN weather reporter Chad Myers was explaining the situation surrounding Hurricane Katrina. But when anchor Carol Costello kept asking him to speak in words the average viewer could understand, Myers hulked out.
Lower
Chad,
pressure, but
Chad,
Camille...
Chad,
let me talk, Carol.
Translate that for us.
Evidently, Myers didn't like the situation.
Well, if you would let me talk...
By the end, Myers smiled and claimed that he was just having fun, but it sure didn't look like it.
All right.
Carol.
Thank you, Chad.
All right. Just having fun with you this morning.
To be fair, The Week points out that this footage was filmed and broadcast at 4:30 a.m., and that's one heck of an hour to keep it together on camera. A lot of people find the mere sight of a spider too much to bear, including global news meteorologist Kristi Gordon, who freaked out on live TV when a giant arachnid was projected right over her head.
Oh my gosh, that was creepy!
As you can imagine, her coworkers erupted in hysterical delight.
Come on! No, I hate it! I can't stand it!
Although she was clearly a good sport, it took her a moment to shake off the heebie-jeebies.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Seriously?
I'm so sorry.
Back when everybody was bonding over the miserable 2018 cold snap, Grand Rapids meteorologist Garry was clearly tired of everyone complaining, according to the Detroit News. After reporting day in and day out on Antarctic-style conditions, Frank finally snapped.
Well, because you guys are dragging me down. You guys keep... Well, every time I get done with the 7-day, you guys are like, oh, gosh.
He continued,
every time. Doesn't matter what time I come on. 4:30, 5:30, 6:30, and then you expect me to be chipper for 5 straight hours.
To be honest, that does sound like a horrible gig.
Here's a 60. I don't know if that's good enough for you guys. Get excited. Maybe I'll disappoint you with the 7-day here in a few minutes.
CNN reported on WITI-TV's Angelica Duria, who got stuck standing in a Milwaukee snowstorm for an entire morning, reporting on weather that clearly wasn't going to improve. But as the lunch hour finally approached, Duria's good spirits melted away and she finally lit up the screen.
I have been here since, 3:30 this morning. I'm exhausted. I've run out of things to say. It is snowing and it sucks here.
Not surprisingly, everyone back in the studio applauded.
Angelica, welcome to real Milwaukee.
Australian weather reporter Steve Jacobs once met a curious pelican named Marnie while reporting from the zoo.
Brushes the south of
You love it.
To be fair to Marnie, the pelican's pecking attack seemed more playful than aggressive, but that didn't make it any less hilarious.
I'm mentally scarred.
Even Jacobs couldn't stop laughing.
Oh dear. I gotta sit down. Woo, when animals attack, there's a beauty never expected. My butt taken off by pelican.
In 2017, Fox 2 weather reporter Derek Kevra got so infuriated by people who didn't properly clean the snow off their cars that he filmed an entire sequence explaining how to do it.
This must be a really hard concept for people to understand.
Kevra proceeded to sarcastically demonstrate how to use a snow brush and ice scraper.
You're going to begin with a generic left to right swipe. Then, a couple inches below that, you'll swipe back.
He added,
and it's this scientific swiping motion that you will use not only on the sides, but the back and all the way around 360 degrees.
The raging fury is so clear that it paints a magnificent portrait of what happens when you finally push a weatherman too far.
Now I know, it seems like a lot, but I promise if you follow those simple steps, you too will be able to clear the snow off of your car.
If you're Boston's Weather Channel meteorologist James Cantore, the most glorious weather phenomenon of all is when lightning strikes during a snowstorm. During a televised segment in 2015, Cantore got so psyched about this bizarre phenomenon that he screamed,
"Oh yes! 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 We got it, baby!"
According to the Washington Post, Cantore is well known throughout the weather community for his passion for so-called thunder snow. Cantore told the Boston Globe it's, quote, kind of like two seasons coming together.
We got it! Yes! Listen to that! Listen to that! Oh, baby!
For his sake and the sake of his fans, hopefully another rocking thunder snow happens again soon. Back in 2010, according to the BBC, weatherman Tomasz Schafernaker got caught in a rather awkward snafu when cameras switched over a second too fast, revealing him brandishing a prominent middle finger.
Accurate and provide all the detail you could possibly want. I've just seen Tomasz Schafernaker preparing for it, so I'm not entirely...
Schafernaker tried to cover it up, but no one was convinced.
Every now and then there's always one mistake. That was it.
A spokesman for the BBC quickly issued an apology, but this wasn't the first time that Schafernaker's sense of humor got him into trouble. He previously had to apologize for calling a region, quote, Nowheresville during a 2007 segment. And in 2009, he accidentally mispronounced the phrase muddy sight as a swear word.
It can't be fun when a meteorologist has to go out into the field during bad weather, but at least TV weather people go into the job expecting some direct exposure to the elements. On the other hand, their colleagues over in sports will usually cover a live game outside. At least that's what sportscaster Mark Woodley of Waterloo, Iowa's KWWL News 7 was used to. But when a blast of snow canceled all the local sporting events in December of 2022, Woodley found himself as the station's unlikely man on the street during the storm. All through the night, anchors in the studio cut to Woodley's live reporting. However, the sportscaster turned weather reporter didn't seem up to the job. As a result, he gave increasingly cranky answers to their questions. At one point, Woodley half-jokingly accused someone at the station of extending the broadcast just to torture him.
The good news is that I can still feel my face right now. The bad news is I kind of wish I couldn't.
Needless to say, when daylight finally broke, Woodley didn't hide the fact that he was thrilled to be going back inside. On June 20th, 2017, global Calgary weatherman Jordan Witzel had to present the daily entry from a list of 150 physical activities Canadians could be doing. The list was put together to mark Canada's 150th birthday. But things got really uncomfortable when Witzel learned that the daily entry was on swinging. Witzel assumed that swinging was being used as a reference to spouse-swapping parties and became visibly disturbed. It took the weatherman 30 seconds to realize that this particular swinging referred to the fun activity done on a playground. After realizing his error, Witzel quipped,
"So, either way, you get your activity in for the day, I guess."
What's a local weather report without a green screen? It's become as fundamental to the segment as the forecast itself, but the technology behind green displays isn't foolproof, as Jennifer McDermott of Fox 9 Minnesota learned one spring day in 2021. Shortly after she reported on the evening temperatures, McDermott began seeing double. Because of a glitch in the green screen display, the video feed was replicated with a slight delay. This meant there were 2 McDermotts, then 3, then 4, and on it went. Each replication was slightly bigger and more delayed than the one before it. Thankfully, the display issue resolved itself when the screen cut to another graphic. However, McDermott's laughter never completely died down.
I can't even talk right now.
In 2016, the team at Denver 7 ABC decided to have fun with weatherwoman Lisa Hidalgo. Hidalgo had just wrapped up her 7-day forecast, but the producer told her to stay on camera. She soon found out why. The team had cut in footage of a raven on her green screen. However, Hidalgo didn't recoil from the bird. She laughed off the prank and mimed kissing it. She then joined the raven in cawing at the camera. On August 4th, 2022, ABC 7's Chicago weatherman Greg Dutra was using a digital monitor as he talked through an upcoming change in the city's wind patterns. But when he made a gesture to indicate the wind's direction, his hand slid along the display. In doing this, Dutra was alerted to the fact that his monitor was indeed a touchscreen. Dutra and the news anchors were shocked at the discovery.
It's a great day! It's a great day!
Dutra's forecast then went off the rails as the weathermen and the news team played around with the screen. However, Dutra finally pulled things back to the weather. He even vowed to figure out how the touchscreen worked. For 15 years, Global Edmonton's Morning News has brought animals from the Edmonton Humane Society into the studio as part of an ongoing Adopt-a-Pet program. The animals are shown during the weather report by meteorologist Mike Sobel. Animals are always unpredictable before the camera, and Sobel has seen his share of funny hijinks from his guest stars. But one dog was in a league of his own. That was Ripple, a cross between a German Shepherd and a Mastiff. While tall enough to clear Sobel's knees, Ripple was only a puppy when he came onto an October 2014 weather report. He was also very interested in playing with his leash.
Sit, Ripple. Ripple, sit. Sit. No, Ripple's not sitting, that's for sure.
That soon turned into a tug-of-war with Sobel, who increasingly struggled to keep his focus on the forecast. Ripple's performance might have frustrated some viewers who were only tuning in to see the weather forecast, but it also worked out for the pooch. A week after Ripple's appearance, he was adopted by a couple in Alberta. As autumn 2014 came along, the news anchors at Fox 59 Indianapolis had one thing on their minds: bees. There were a lot of them in the area, and one of the anchors made her position on the insects very clear.
As long as it's outside and
That's
not
true.
inside, you won't see me dashing out of the
Sometimes you...
When the anchors finished their bee chat, meteorologist Jennifer Ketchmark began her weather forecast. The green screen behind her displayed the view from the studio's tower camera. So, when a bee swooped in front of the lens, Ketchmark and the anchors started cracking up. Ketchmark then said,
All right, let's get past the tower cam. I don't want to look at it anymore.
She also predicted that the segment was bound to end up on a blooper reel.
I'm going to regret that for a long time.
On July 13, 2020, WCNC's morning weatherman Larry Sprinkle seemed well prepared for his report. But as he stepped out to deliver his forecast, he noticed that several counties were showing absurdly hot temperatures of 150 degrees.
Afternoon, wow.
No matter how hard he tried, Sprinkle could not stop laughing. The graphics eventually transitioned to the correct temperatures, but Sprinkle's laughter persisted. The weatherman's laughing fit got so bad that he finally had to beg for relief from someone off camera named Ruby.
Ruby, help me, please.